Hello everyone, and welcome to the unboxing and initial setup of the latest ENGWE Engine Pro version 2 or 2.0. While you are going to see that the bike looks very similar with the older version, it actually looks almost identical. You are going to see in the full review that there are a lot of differences, so the bike only looks the same, but everything is changed. Everything, when I say everything, it's not even the frame, it's the same. All right, so first thing first, we need to take out all of this packaging, and I recommend you to use a scissor, not a cutter, so you prevent damaging the paint when you are cutting away. And now that the frame is free, we still have some other things to unpack. For instance, this wheel with mudguard and rear rack. We also get the seat post looking like this. Then we have another mudguard here. And last but not least, we also get two other cardboard boxes. This one, which has the handlebar stem inside, and we also have the regular box with the accessories and charger. Let's check it out. So inside we get the pedals, and we get front axle, we get rubber caps, tools, manual, and charger, of course. And now I'm going to do a magic act, and that's it. I'm joking. Let's start working on it. And we have all the parts here unpacked, and we can continue with our build. To do that, you have to decide now if you are going to install the rear mudguard and the rear rack, because now they are connected between them. So you have this bracket here on the mudguard, this bracket here, and this eyelet here. The eyelet, of course, goes like a regular bike. It fixes on the rear part of the frame here, while this part, this bracket, will fix to this bracket here. So you have to connect these two together like that, one over the other, and you are going to do that by using the provided screws that are included on the stop lamp. So the stop lamp has two long screws here with nuts. So this is going to fix them all like a sandwich. Then the rear rack will fix on the bike using these screws here and corresponding the same ones on the other part. So I'm going to install the rear mudguard, and to do that, first I'm going to take out these 5 screws that are here. To take the screws out, you get the provided needed tools in the tool bag here. It has everything that you need to install this bike, but I'm going to use this. I don't recommend you because I have previously used this on some other similar things, and I ended up destroying the screws. So one is out. And I hope I will not destroy the screw. These are very long and they have Loctite pre-applied on them. So when you are going to tighten them up, they are not going to get off that easy from the vibration. And to make things more easy, don't try to fix this directly onto the mudguard right now. Just put the mudguard in the correct position, so this eyelet rests here on the frame. Put the rear rack over them in the position that it should stay, just like that. And now you are going to take the light, you are going to prepare one screw and one washer, and you are going to put this through the mudguard bracket. Then you are going to put the washer, just like that. You are not going to see anything on the camera, and then you are going to put the first nut. Another variant to make things even more easy is to actually start to put the screws back to the rear rack, but just to keep this in position so it doesn't move that much. And being held in this position, you can fiddle more easy here with the mudguard. Also take note that this bracket from the mudguard, from the rear part of the mudguard, is very flexible, and when you initially install it, it might not fit correctly, but just press it with your finger and it's going to take the correct shape, while the screws are going to also put it in place. And from here it gets a bit more simple, so you need to tighten up the rear rack so it's in the correct position. Then you are going to tighten this up. Be sure to adjust this so that the mudguard is not touching the tire, but it's not too much in this part, so it doesn't actually rub on the frame, because if the mudguard is going to hit here the frame, it's going to produce a lot of unwanted noise. And then finally, just center the mudguard here on the lamp and tighten up those two screws. And again, you can do that with the provided tools. I'm going to use something else for tightening this up, or at least getting them in, because they are very long. And I'm going to tighten them up finally with a manual tool. With this done, now we can move to the front wheel, and now we have the original ENGWE puzzle. We have these things in that order that we need to put on the front wheel, because there is no shaft on it. And then we have to put this, of course, in the fork. To do that, if you are just one person and you don't want to break your back, just do this. You are going to flip the bike on one side, then you are going to take this shaft off. This is for transport, so it doesn't damage the front fork. Okay, you are going to take this protection from the brake, and now on the front wheel you are going to do the following. You are going to take out all of these from one side. Keep the order in mind. So nut, washer, spacer. On this part, I'm just going to let them in their position, but I'm going to take the nut at the end of the shaft, the big screw. Then I'm going to check how this is going to be this way. So I'm going to put it through the wheel here, just like that. But now I'm going to keep the spacer like that, the washer out. So by holding the shaft here and the wheel, I'm going to put this inside, just like that. But that's not all. I'm going to put this spacer here, so the spacers are going to stay inside the fork, just like that. Right, so here you are going to put the washer and the nut on. Under this part here is the spacer, and then on the other side it's in reverse order. So tighten this by hand just a bit, and you can also try to do that from underneath, so this doesn't fall off. And now we can gently flip it back over on wheels. Take care with the handlebar, because this is not fixed, so we don't want to scratch it, break it, or other things like that. And then you can put the kickstand, and now it can stay on the wheels. So here is the order in detail. So we have nut, washer, then fork, then spacer, and on the other side there, you can see here better, you have the spacer, the washer, and the nut. All you have to do now is to be sure that the wheel is fully set in the position. Then you are going to tighten up both nuts, and we get the tools, and you have here 15 and another 15 combined with a 14 and a 13. So use 15 with 15, so you can hold on one side and tighten on the other one. Otherwise the shaft will rotate, or you cannot fix this correctly. So be sure that it's tightened up from both sides equally. You can see that by the amount of thread that is revealed when the nut goes and tightens this up. And here's a small tip. So if you are not sure if this is the correct position, so for instance, I'm not sure this is the correct position, then I'm just going to lift the bike from here, and I'm going to turn the wheel. You can see that the wheel hardly makes any noise, so it doesn't rub on the brake caliper. So it's rather centered, the disc is centered on the caliper. Being centered on the caliper means that the wheel offset, it's perfect, because it doesn't have to be more on this side or on that side. It's perfectly centered, and the spacers should not be inside, they are outside, because being outside will make the fork like this, will force it, and then the disc brake will go a bit offset, and it's going to start to rub on the brake pads. Now we are going to install the stem and then the handlebar. To install the stem, you need to take this rubber cap off from here, very tiny rubber cap. Then there is a screw here that you are going to loosen up, and when this is out, let me show you. You are going to take this out, this part out, and this out, and you are going to remain with this thing here. And here is a very important thing. If you do that now, you can take the bearings out. You can see them. This is how you are also going to adjust the headset. So this is a very important step right now. So now we are going to put the stem like this, and the correct position is, let me tighten this up just like that. So you can see this has a curvature. The curvature should be pointing in front. not on the back. A lot of people are tempted to put it this way. Don't do that. You can actually have an accident with the bike because of that. It should stay like this. And now that we know the rotation position, we can fold this back so the position is kind of this way. And now we are going to put this thing back here. So this, now when we are tighten this up, this is going to squash those plates that push in the ball bearings. So this is going to self-center if we move it gently, and it's going to tighten up the bearing so that there is no play in the headset. Don't overdo it, don't do it too much, because you are going to lock or block or damage the bearings here. So be sure that this still moves easy but doesn't have any play in the headset. When that's okay, you are going to tighten up the side screws. The side screws, there are two screws on this side here. The side screws will squash this part here, and it's going to keep it from not rotating against the wheel. So now I have tightened it up on this way, so there is no play in the bearings, but I didn't tighten it up this way, so I can still hold the wheel and rotate the stem. So you get the idea. The bearings are compressed okay, but this one is not held in place. So tighten those up, will lock into position. I'm not going to tighten them up right now because I want to put this back on, and I'm going to install the handlebar here on top so I can see that the wheel is straight and perpendicular to my handlebar. And after that I'm going to tighten them up. The handlebar is easy to install. You have two screws here that you need to take out completely. And we are going to take this cap out. Alright, and we are going to put the handlebar on. The handlebar has the correct position of the wires are on this side here because they come out of the frame in this part, and there is also the brake line that goes down. And let's see, correct rotation should be this one. Okay, and it sits something like that. And now we are going to put this back on. Of course, you can now also adjust the rotation of the handlebar so it fits okay. The display is going to go back over this. The display is put in this position from the factory, so you can play with the screws right away, and then you are going to adjust the position of the display. And now that the handlebar is installed and you can flip the display to the correct position, you can also adjust the handlebar so it's centered over the wheel. And you can use the side screws here to tighten the handlebar in the correct position so it doesn't rotate anymore. So it locks it into position, and that's it. A simple way to check if this bearing is tightened up properly. First, you are going to lift the frame from here and you are going to gently move the handlebar. So if this works very easy, then it's okay, it's not over tightened. Then you are going to apply the front brake at maximum, and then you are going to hold your hand here where the bearings are, and you are going to do a play like this, front back very fast, and you are going to feel if there is a play here. If there is a play here, then they are too loose. If there is no play and you have tested that this goes very easy, then it's just perfect. Also, when you are done with this, don't forget to put the small rubber cap back here, just like that, to be nice, because it's from there. And we are done with this part here. Now we can move on to the front mudguard. The front mudguard can be installed in 2 positions, but I'm going to recommend you 1 position. So you can have this bracket here in front, but it's not going to sit right. You are going to have more in front here, less in the back, more dirt on your legs. So the bracket is better to be on this part here. So that's very easy to do. You are just going to put the mudguard this way. The brackets here will go on each side where we have pre-installed screws, so we need to take those out, and we need to take this screw out. And when you put the screw back, we can also fix the headlamp. Now we are going to take the front screw out. So this has an eye lock, so you need to use a counter on the nut. Let's take it out. And it's out, and here we have 2 washers. Very nice, because we are going to use one in the front and one in the rear, and it's going to be this way. So we have the front headlamp, we have the screw, 1 washer, so it goes with the washer like that, then it goes in, then goes the mudguard, then the other washer, and now the nylock. And we are going to put them back. So I'm going to put this, and I'm going to gently tighten this up, but I don't have space now with that, so I'm going to use the provided tools from ENGWE to finish the job. Just like that. And now I'm going to put this in the correct position, and it gets a bit more fiddly because you don't have a lot of space for movement, so you need to put this here, come on, and then tighten them up. So just bit by bit. Also, you can try to hold this as a counter and use the wrench from the back now to tighten this up. Also, be sure to adjust the height of the mudguard, because the bracket can be moved up and down, and now it's very low on the wheel, so you can choose how low or how high it is. Now I'm also going to take out the screws for the bracket, and now going to put the screw back through the mudguard fixing bracket here. And now we are going to tighten them up. And at the end, manually with no tool, so we don't destroy the threads. And all that is left now is to install the seat post. That's of course very easy. And we also need to install the pedals. And you know the idea with them. You have an R written here, an R here. So just be careful with that, so you do not cross thread them when you are installing. So on the right side here, it has a normal thread, while on the other side there, it has a reversed thread. And with the provided tool, you can also tighten them up properly. And that's it. The bike is now fully installed and ready to go outside to be fully reviewed. So be sure to follow my next uploads, and until then, see you and bye bye.